this exchange with Democratic strategist Joel Payne. Take a listen.
You don't have to be a golden retriever to hear all the dog whistles coming out of the White House these days. And from my friend David over here.
Final point, David. All right, you said that about David.
Michael Hayden posted a picture of Auschwitz. Donnie Deutsch is talking.
That liberal Michael Hayden. Yeah, that screaming liberal Michael Hayden.
You're out of your cotton-picking mind.
Cotton-picking mind? Brother, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I got some.
This is ridiculous.
Okay. And I'm not going to allow you to attack me like that on TV. I'm not out of my cotton-picking mind.
You're out of your mind.
Well, you saw Fox News host there, Ed Henry, in the middle. He said after that exchange that he and Fox News, quote, don't agree with that particular phrase and that it was obviously offensive. Now, this comes amid some new tweets from President Trump on immigration, one of which recently he says in part, we cannot allow all of these people to invade our country. And today, Democratic Congressman Luis Gutierrez weighed in on the president's use of rhetoric like that.
The president uses words like they're breeders in sanctuary cities who are protecting breeders. He said yesterday, they come to infest. I mean, these are the kinds of words that the Republican Party and this president uses. And he doesn't use it as an immigration policy. He doesn't use it as border control policy. He uses it as an issue in order to energize his political base for the midterm elections.
All right, let's bring in Republican strategist Lauren Zelt, managing director of FP1 Strategies. We also have Democratic strategist Don Calloway, CEO of Pine Street Strategies. All right, you sigh there, and I get a sense you were listening to what was said there on Fox. Don, tell us why, and there's been a lot of talk after that interview that you've probably seen, that the use of that term, that racially offensive term, cotton picking, that was used for that African-American guest. How should we take this? What did you see in that exchange?
This is the worst of the worst, Richard. And let's be clear, I do a lot of Fox News. As a matter of fact, they called me to do the segment that the gentleman did this morning. So that very easily could have been me. There's no excuse. Fox News has intentionally fostered and festered and allowed to cultivate a culture of pure racism, and we're beyond the place of calling it dog whistles or calling it rhetoric. No, it's racist, and it's intentional, and these are the people who have the ears of the president. Cotton picking. You know what? I'm from Alabama, and my people pick cotton, so I would have the opportunity to sit here in a suit and talk stuff about politics. And forgive me because I'm not comporting myself exactly as professionally as I would like to right now. That is so far beyond the pale of anything that we should find acceptable in the American discourse today that there's no excuse. There's no excuse for Fox News. There's no excuse for these milquetoast Republicans along the rank and file of elected office who lead people in this country not completely repudiating that type of nonsense. Yes, my people pick cotton. I'm very proud of it because me and my sons don't have to, and we have opportunities because those people pick cotton. Shame on David Bossie. Shame on President Trump for supporting this type of stuff. I'm sorry, Richard. I wish I were being a lot more articulate right now. I've got nothing, man. It's unbelievable.
Don, I really appreciate your honesty and reflection on that. There's been a lot of reactions like that, as you've probably seen. Lauren, how would you perceive what was said there in that exchange, again, with the former deputy campaign manager of President Trump?
I mean, to me, it's shocking. It's shocking that it's 2018 and people are still using rhetoric like that. Don, I appreciate your candid and heartfelt reaction because we cannot have a situation in our country where people who are close to the president are using rhetoric like that. I mean, it's just unacceptable to me. Now, I will say I looked on Twitter and I saw that David Bossie issued an apology. He had to. I mean, I think anyone who works in communications would tell him to apologize. But what's done is done, and rhetoric like that just has no place in our country. I mean, that's the reality of the situation. And, you know, my heart just breaks to see anyone who calls himself a Republican using words like that.
Don, there's also that you heard the Representative Gutierrez say, you know, the lack of care in language, so he says, is just not good, but it's good for his base. Your reflection?
Yeah, it's intentional, you know, and we've gotten beyond the point of code words, infestation and invasion and animals. You can talk about people in this way when you don't consider them people. You know, so it's actually a very honest manifestation of the president's actual thoughts and actual feelings when he uses these non-human terms to talk about them. You even see yesterday the things that the other commentators say. So it's not just today with the cotton picking. Yesterday, Rachel Campo said, hey, guess what? I've spoken to African Americans, and they tell me that the projects they grew up in are much worse conditions than these literal concentration camps that we're holding babies in on the border right now. So Fox News is the media wing of the Republican Party, and they have worked squarely with the party, with actual people who are governing in this country, to foster a universe of the rhetoric of racism, and it's wildly unacceptable. And the scary thing about it is that these are the people who have the ear of the most powerful person in the world, and actual policy emanates from these words. Actual outcomes for real people are the result of just flat-out racism, and it's no longer acceptable. It's no longer acceptable, Richard.
I do want to read David Bossie's response in full. He says, during a heated segment on Fox and Friends today, I should have chosen my words more carefully and never used the offensive phrase. That I did. I apologize to Joel Payne, Fox News, and its viewers. I thank you both. Don Calloway, again, for your candor. Lauren Zelt, for as well, your candor. We'll have to leave it there. And a programming note for all of you. Thanks, Democratic strategist Joel Payne, who we were just talking about, will be on MSNBC.